Hello, this is Eddie with Southern Pastures. We are a small woodworking shop in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Figured one of the first videos that we do is just showing our shop and the machines that we use. We don't have super fancy machines or super expensive machines, a couple of exceptions, but just wanted to show a common woodworker that it doesn't take super expensive tools. All these were acquired over a period of time, upgraded. You know, I used to have a rigid miter saw that was just a straight up and down, and then you upgrade to the DeWalt slider. We got a Recon 10-inch bandsaw. Craftsman router and router table, Central Machinery, you know, Harbor Freight 12-inch disc sander. We got one of the rigid table saws. One of my more expensive pieces is probably even more fancy, is the Jet drum sander. DeWalt planer. Of course, I'd love to have, you know, a Jet 20-inch helical head planer, but you do what you can with what you can. And then porta cable jointer, and yeah, it's a decent sized shop. I keep most of the stuff on wheels to make it much more easy to set up for multiple cuts, sanding, planing. Got dust collection going on. This extension right here is for these three. What we did was just hook in some adapters, easy unplug, and plug it in, and then plug it in over here if I need to. Dust collection is very important in a small shop, never mind a big shop. And then when I want to operate table saw, sander, planer, or jointer, you just come over here, unhook, and then you have that I hook up into each of those as I set them up. So, like I said, we're a small woodworking shop. I do cutting boards. I just bought a CNC machine so I can do inlays. So you have big cutting board blanks, and then you have small blanks to do inlays on them. We'll take a look at the CNC. First we'll take a look at the dust collection. That again is from Harbor Freight. I built a little closet here for it, and the thing works fantastic. Harbor Freight tools, I'm not scared of Harbor Freight tools, but I won't buy anything, I don't know, with too many moving parts from Harbor Freight. You won't see a sliding miter or a bandsaw. Pretty much all I have is the sander. Big fan. I'm in Louisiana, so having a fan is important. And the dust collection. And you see we have a bunch of CNC practice blanks, we'll call them, all out of MDF. These are all, they're not fails, they're just not perfect. If it's not perfect, I don't want to use it. So we'll take a look at the CNC. I have a CNC Shark HD3. It's tough for me to get it all in one frame as I'm close. So it's I basically have a 25 by 25 inch bed. Have to have a designated computer for it. It has its own dust collector, again Harbor Freight. We set up, they come up and around, hook right down. And we have our cooling system, pump, coolant. That's going to be changed out in the next few days. It's just not keeping it cool enough. So what I'm going to do is what I bought and on the way is a radiator, computer radiator with fans. It's going to have its own reservoir in that regard. yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty awesome machine. And there's a learning curve. It takes time to learn it. I'm still nowhere near perfect. Let's see what we have in here. We have our cutting boards that are done. And let's see. That's the first inlay that I did. It's a walnut board, maple inlay. It came out pretty well, I gotta say. For the first successful one, using hardwoods. No practice with hardwoods, just practice with MDF. That came out pretty good. More boards. Yeah, setting up the CNC, definitely I had to bring in some new wires from the panel and give it its own power over here. Everything has surge protectors on it. We have remote control over here, so I don't have to walk around and do everything. We can turn on dust collection. We turn on our CNC controller and our VFD for our water-cooled spindle, all by remote control. Things are hooked in together, that way you push one or two buttons and everything is on all at once. Everything shuts off all at once. It's definitely a cool machine. They're not cheap, that's for sure. Not for quality. And Next Wave Automation makes the Shark. They do a fantastic job. It's nice and sturdy. It's super heavy. It's definitely my prize tool. Now I just got to get it to work even harder. So yeah, that's it. Got a downdraft sanding table on wheels. Hook our dust collection right into the back there. Sucks it right down. Keeps the shop nice and clean. We have a glue up table with pipe clamps. Makes it easy. You can just scrape off excess glue that gets dripped down onto it. Try to make everything as user friendly as possible. So that's it. You know, you don't have to have super fancy stuff. That being said, obviously I have the CNC and the sander, and you know, I have some nice things, but I didn't start out that way. I didn't start making boards that way. I made a bunch and sold a bunch and then decided that it was worth buying bigger and better things. So you just try to do it piece by piece over time. You try to do too much at once and it, you know, it seems a lot more extreme. And oh yeah, chip separator for our dust collection. Just makes it so you don't have to empty the bag every day or every other day. It's easier to empty that. Big chips go in there, very little dust goes into the bag. And yeah, you gotta have some entertainment while you're down here. So put a TV in, DVD player, and headphones. Excess wood, scrap pieces that I'll use for different little projects. And that's about it. It's a small shop. I'd say from wall to wall, I think it's 30, and then from side to side it's like 18. So it's not too small, but when you get a lot of machinery in here, a lot of tables, everything else, it really starts to add up. And that's why I put everything on wheels. It just makes it much easier. So that's it. This is Eddie from Southern Pastures. And this is the first video. Hopefully there'll be a lot more with some finished products. Thank you guys.